Hi, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you a few advanced editing and saving tips and tricks here in Illustrator. There's a few really cool things that you can do with text when you're editing your file, and one of them I want to show you is how to insert an image into an Illustrator file and how to take that image and make text wrap around it really nicely. A little bit confusing, but once you get the hang of it, it's really fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some filler text here, just some random text, and I'm going to grab my type tool, and I want my text, make sure the correct layer, now see I can't add anything here, make sure I'm on the correct layer, and now I'm going to add a text box right here. And I'm going to right click in here and I'm going to paste that text. Actually, I'm going to Control V. There we go. So here is my filler text. And what I want to do is take an image and add it right inside this text box and make the text wrap around it. So now what I want to do is add an image to my file. So to do that, you're going to choose File and Place, and we're going to find an image to toss into this file. I'll use that one. So now the image is right here on my cursor. All I need to do is just pick a spot and just click and it'll drop it right onto my file. So if I click, there it is. Now the file is huge. This is where your zoom in and zoom out tool comes in handy, and so does your hand tool to move things around. So I'm going to zoom out. Again, choose your zoom tool and Alt to zoom out. So there's my image, and I want to resize that image and make it smaller. So there's a couple of different ways you can resize an image in Illustrator. The easiest way is to put your cursor right here on the corner of the image file and hold down the Shift key so that it scales down proportionately without distorting it, and then just drag that down. So there's one way to resize it. So you can move that file around. So once you resize it a bit, you can move it back up. Another way to resize it is if you right click on the file and choose Transform. I want to scale it down, and I'll choose a percentage, say 50%, and then choose OK, and it scales down by 50%. So I'll just do Shift again. I'll scale it down a little bit more, and it's too big to fit in that box, so I'm going to do more. And a bit more. So now I'm going to zoom in a bit here so we can see what we're doing. I'm going to grab this image file. And you'll notice that if I put that here over the text, well, the text isn't wrapping around it. So we need the text to wrap around the image. How do we do that? It's easy. All you do is select both of these layers. To do that, just marquee them. Grab both of them like this. So just like draw an outline here and grab them both. Or you can even click on one and then Shift click on the other, and that grabs them both. Let me show you what I mean when I say layers and I'm selecting these two, because under here, if I click here, then it shows you that this layer just got selected. This is my text. See, if I hide that, there's my text. All right, now if I choose the image, there's the image layer right here. See, if I hide that layer, my image is gone. So this layer and this layer are my image and my text. So if I select one and Shift select, now you can see they're both selected. So now I want this text to wrap around this image. So with both of these layers selected, I'm going to go here to Object, and I want the text to wrap. So I want to make the text wrap. So choose Text Wrap and Make. And then it's going to show you this dialog saying, okay, your text's going to wrap around your image, and say okay. That's exactly what we want. So there you go. Text is wrapping around the image. Now you can still edit this content, this text, if you want to. So say I want to take this text and I don't want it to be as bold as it is. So by selecting this text and choosing your character palette up here, I can deselect bold and choose regular. So now my text is less bold. I can also increase or decrease my font size here. And I can also increase or decrease my line spacing if I want to as well. Another cool thing I want to show you is, do you see this little red box right here? What this is showing you is that you're not showing all of your text. Some of your text isn't visible. And let me move stuff around here so I can zoom in here and show you what I mean. See this little plus sign? That means, hey, there's more text in this box and you're not showing all of it. To show that, we're going to double click in here. And I'm going to, actually I'm not going to double click, I'm going to single click and I'm going to move this box down. Now see, if I open this box up, now it shows all of my content. So if you ever see that little red plus sign, it means, hey, there's more text in here, you're cutting me off. That's what that means. So keep an eye on that, because sometimes stuff can get cut off and you don't want it to. So I'll go ahead and zoom back out here. So that's how you make text wrap around an image. Really fun. Now say I want to delete these two, I don't want them anymore. Just select them both and hit delete, they're gone. Pretty simple. Another neat thing I want to show you is when you're exporting out files from Illustrator, and it wouldn't apply to this file because we export this out as an image, not a PDF. But if you were to export out a PDF, you want to make sure that your fonts are outlined, number one. And the reason for that is because someone who's reading the PDF might not have those fonts on their computer, so you want to make sure that when you outline the fonts, it's going to show exactly how you want them to show, whether or not anyone has those fonts or not. With an image file, you don't got to worry about that, but with a PDF you do. So to make fonts outline, there's a couple things that you need to do. Number one, in your layers palette, the first thing that you do, and I'm just going to remove this duplicate layer for a moment. So I have my front and my back. Right now I'm showing the back of the file, and I want to save a version that's going to be editable, and I want to have a version with outlined fonts, because outlined fonts are not editable. So make sure that if you ever outline your fonts, make sure that you save out a version that's editable. So to do that, I'm going to take the back layer and make sure it's closed because it's easier to work with. Choose that back layer, come here, and then duplicate the back. So now I am going to double click this and rename it editable. And then I'm going to double click this back copy and I'm going to rename that outlined. So now I'm going to hide my editable and lock it so I can't modify that. And I'm going to come here, and to make these fonts outline, I simply select everything in this layer, and then I come up here to type, and then I choose create outlines. And there, now you can see that each one of these fonts is now its own outlined version of the font, non-editable. So you can actually take this right now and you can export it to a PDF, and no matter who views it, they're going to view these fonts just as they appear right here, right now. So to save as a PDF, you choose Save As. So under File, Save As is how you choose a PDF, and under Export would be where you choose your JPEG and image files. So under Save As, if I choose PDF, then I have more options that come up under PDF. So if I choose Save, I'm actually going to call this one Test and Save. And then you get your PDF options. I typically choose Press Quality because that's great for print. It's going to be in high res. You don't typically need to choose any other options. Just choose Press Quality and hit Save PDF, and it will save out a version of that PDF file for you. When it's done saving, sometimes it takes a little while to save, but when it's done, then your version.ai is going to change to PDF. So if you want to save this file, if you want to make more changes rather, so say I come back here to this editable side and I make more changes, and if I hit Control S or save, it's only going to save out the PDF again. So make sure you come back and you save as AI once again to resave the newer version as an AI file. So there's some tips and tricks for you, editing and saving and adding images and so on. If you have any other questions, email or call, but those are all the basics and the handy tips and tricks to work with your postcards in Illustrator. Have fun.